Hello, people of the internet. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, happy Saturday to you all. Happy July 1st to you all. Hope you are enjoying your weekend. Can you believe it? We are already in the second half of 2023. It does not feel like it at all. And what a way to ring in the second half of the year with, of course, it is Saturday. We have our weekly roundup of OSTs here on the channel. Welcome to episode 26 of OST Saturdays. These are always fun. These are always a good time. Hopefully you enjoy. And as is the case with these, if you want to skip ahead to a certain song of your choice, timeline below is going to be chapter based off of whatever we are listening to. Today on the menu we've got OSTs from Colde. We've got a little collaboration piece between Baek and Yoo Hweseung of And Flying. We've got the girls from Nature, who we have not heard from in a hot minute since Limbo, I think. We've got Boni and Lara, two members from DreamNote. We've got Classy. We've got Sunye of Wonderl's fame, and we've got Mr. Jaeyun of TO1, who I can't remember if we had TO1 in the channel before. I feel like there's been a video, TO1 video, in somewhat the recent past, but that's the point. We have 7 today, but technically 2 of them are what we call PVs. They're promo videos. If you're familiar with your Japanese animes, PVs are like the minute 30-second versions of the songs. So 7, but hopefully these shouldn't take too long. In a pretty talkative mood today, but I reckon we should get through these pretty quickly. So let's get in with song number 1 real quick. This is Colde with the song Star for the drama See You in My 19th Life, which is a show we've definitely featured on the show before. Colde, also one of those artists that I feel like we've almost exclusively had for OST Saturdays, which is always very interesting to me. Because OSTs are always going to be different from the artist's discography, their own discography. But each OST in of itself is different from each other, right? Because there's no real connection between different series unless they're part of the same franchise, so to speak. So it's like a really interesting kind of Venn diagram thing going on with Colde and music. But love his voice, and if he's got a new OST again, I reckon I'm going to enjoy it. So let's get right into it. Why is it in 720p? Give me my 1080p. There we go. Toddles. I like toddles.
거북이.
Just like a star.
If you've been around for long enough, you know how I feel about acoustic instruments on a slow emotional piece like this.
Well, everything is changed. Just cannot help but stay.
Oh,
just like a star.
Take it into the minor.
Don't even see myself get old.
Oh.
It's hard to be
Brief injection of vocals, the background vocals.
I keep on praying. Oh, if my tears fall down in my universe, turns into a new world, time to find my way back home. 1,000 years gone, I don't feel nothing no more.
Oh, interesting metering going on here.
Now it's time to go over like a star.
Oh, that chorus, spectacular. Just a sudden flourish with the background vocals, top tier. Also, the metering is really interesting because there's a combination of a 4 meter and a 3 meter going on, and they both work really well together.
Just like a star. Oh, So the memories got stuck. I'm tired of the past. I want to break away.
Oh, are we gonna get a short verse? It is a short verse.
Tears fall down in my universe, turns into a new world. Time to find my way.
2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2.
Don't feel nothing no more. You'll do
The chorus isn't predominantly 3, but the verses can be divided into 3 or 4. My musical brain is very happy with this. Oh, and let it ring out on the 7th chord at the end. Oh! Ooh! Ooh, what a good start to the day. What a good start to the day indeed. I've said this before, and I will say it again. On a slower emotional piece like this, an acoustic instrument is the most effective tool in pushing the emotional aspect of the song out. It just hits so much harder when the song has acoustic instruments with it. And the fact that essentially this entire song and like the instrumental section was driven by that strummed acoustic guitar, where you could hear every strum, you could hear all the strings being strummed. Oh, don't even get me started on that chorus. That chorus, the way it flourishes, the way it grows, the way all of a sudden you hear this rush. It's such a short riser into the chorus. You hear it rush in, and then all of a sudden you get all these background vocals, and the tone just sounds so much richer, and it's got such a nice body behind the tone, and you hear the vocals soar, but there's a nice gentleness to it, but then you hear the background vocals that go along with it, and they provide like a little cloudy feeling, and it's just spectacular. It just has everything I want from an emotional piece. You know, maybe throw in a shoulder strings section, and it just doesn't get really better than that, really. I'm a sucker for good vocals. I really am. And that chorus is just so freaking pretty. Oh, okay. Let's keep these snappy one time. What do we got next? Okay, Baek and Mr. Hweseung of M Flying. Okay, so if I've read correctly, this is a remake of a song that Baek did before. It's just the feature artist this time has Hweseung featuring on it, which, I mean, Hweseung's vocals is always a good time, but it's the song Garosugil at Dawn for the film My Love, which, again, I think is a film that we've had on the show before. And I know the name Baek. I don't think I've heard anything by her, I think, right? But of course, Hweseung's voice I'm very familiar with at this point. So, let's hear what they sound like together. Why is it defaulting to... You know what? I'm not even gonna bother with it since it doesn't have visuals, it's just got a still. Another slower piece in 3? Okay. Stylistically very similar to the previous one, actually. I like the little wails of the electric guitar, though.
사진 속을 몇 번을 들여다보고 한심하게 속앓이
Wow, this is very stylistically similar to the last song, isn't it? It's like instead of the background vocals, we're getting a string section.
아무도 남지 않은 거리를 나설 때 간판의 불빛이 하나 둘씩 꺼져도 사람들이 하루를 끝낼 생각 없을 때
Oh, shout out my peeps on the shoulder strings in the back there.
하나씩 또 하나씩 말하고 싶어도
Hit the harmonies.
하루 종일 너라는 핑계를 대고 바보같이 노래를 불러보아도
Keep the harmonies in unison.
날 올려다보던 네 눈빛 장난칠 때 웃으며 때리던 손길 사진 속을 몇 번을 들여다보고 한심하게 소갈이 흘려보아도 아무도 날 울리지 않는 전화기 집으로 돌아가는 길
I would like to hear the harmonies separate at one point, sooner or later. Now we got some separation going. Little call and response between the two. Let it trail off. Oh! Oh, and again, ended on the major 7! Oh. Interesting about this one is the kind of order we've listened to following Colde's Star. It's taken the things I wanted from that one and kind of messed around. It's like I was kind of getting a little bit worried about the harmonies for this until we got to the final chorus, because it was very much, the harmonies were very simple, unison harmonies, isolated vocal parts, things like that. So I was wondering if we were going to get some really nice textured harmonies at some point. They held it off for a while, but we got there in the end, and boy, that vocal flourish at the end was powerful. It really was. In fact, it was so powerful that my guy on the electric guitar back there, or whoever's playing electric guitar in the song, got a little bit overpowered. So F's 07s for electric guitar, but as a shoulder string player myself, as someone who played violin for 11 years growing up, I felt that one in here. I felt that one in the heart too. I'd love a nice soaring high shoulder string section, man. It's just, it makes me feel right at home, if that makes sense. I do wish we got a little bit more harmonies in this though. Like, we got it at the end, and we got a lot of harmony at the end. Nice 2-part harmony, nice call and response, some nice unison, some nice some fills here and there. It was really nice. But it was like exclusive to the final chorus. I would have wished we had like a little bit more layering in the choruses leading up to it, kind of like how we got it in Colde's Star. But that's also me being a very selfish fan of vocals and vocal harmonies. So take what I say with a grain of salt on that one, because that is just entirely down to me wanting more vocals. Because I love vocals. Have I said that enough? I love vocals. But it's really pretty. Baek, that kind of lower, quieter range is super, I think, kind of almost like whispery in a way. She puts some beans into it, like puts some proper power behind it, and all the richness comes out. And then Hweseung, for someone in doing vocals in a K band, if you will, has a very rich, strong voice. Pairs really nicely together, especially both in their lower ranges. Pairs really nice together, so very, very nice indeed. Next up. This is for... Shoot, I've been meaning to watch this show. This is Sound Candy, the drama with Miss Yoo Hweseung of Wiki Wiki and IOI fame, who I miss dearly. Actually, both groups I miss dearly. But that's the point. This is Nature. It has been a hot minute since we've heard some Nature music, but this is Fly High by Nature for the drama Sound Candy. Now, Nature. Gosh, anyone remember the rise of Nature back in the day? I say back in the day, it was like 2-3 years ago, but Nature were doing bits at one point. And I think Limbo kind of became like a cult classic in a way. Again, can't really call it a cult classic if it's only been out for like 10 months, but you get my point. It was like a very niche song that got popularity within a very niche category of people, but I enjoyed it. But let's see what their OST is like. So, Fly High. I'm gonna do my OCD, and here we go. Nice 16th note riffs.
조승달 같아 아직 커다란 나의 꿈들은 가시가 되어 훅 너의 꿈을 처음 이룬 게 많니 날카로운 유리 조각들 새파랗게 뜨거운 blood 번져가는 빨간 책 잘 들어 숨고파 yeah I don't cry 깜깜한 밤하늘 눈감아봐 조용히 내
Very nice gradual build. What's this chorus going to be like though? Two-part pre-chorus. Anthemic route, okay. Oh, offsetting the really powerful high note with the low voice in the verse. That was a really cool run. Flip really quickly into the head voice and then just take it up. I don't know why my computer keeps doing that. We're gonna go back for 10 seconds. if you know like the backstory of Nature and the vocals for Nature, I love the rich vocal texture that they have. Lots of harmonies. Nice hold. The breathy head voice let us soar a little bit. Keep it coming. Woo. Yeah. I will apologize once again. I don't know why my computer stutters like that. I've yet to figure out why it does that, because I can't replicate it. It just happens. But the song, though, it's exactly what I expected. I wanted. I've always had a soft spot for Nature's vocals, and it's a shame because they don't really emphasize it all that much in their title tracks. My first impression of Nature was, in fact, I found a live performance from some fan meet or something they did, where they sang their debut song, Allegro Cantabile, which was a remake of the Suemitsu and the Sue. I always forget the group's name, but it was. I think the song was called like Nodame Cantabile, or it was the drama. It was an anime, Nodame Cantabile, which was, I think, also a published manga as well. But that song, Allegro Cantabile, Suemitsu and the Suemith, there we go, that's the group name, was originally the OP for that anime. And Nature had gone and remade it in Korean. And they had done an a cappella version of that song at some fan meet. And I remember listening to it and being really amazed by it. And this wasn't just like singing everything, it was like, full on harmonies with like tenors and alto parts and things like that. And I always just remember being really impressed by it. It was like them, Lovelies did some a cappella stuff on live TV around that time, and this was back when I was still singing, and I was partaking in like a cappella, and I just remember listening to it and thinking, oh yeah, they are really cool. But we never really get to hear the girls sing with that rich of a vocal harmony anymore, because it's just not a regular pop thing to do, to have a 6-7 part vocal harmony in a song, which I think is a shame. Is, you give them a song like Fly High, admittedly this is for an OST, but the same thing. It's like a slower, rich song where you can pump in a whole lot of vocals, and you heard that final chorus, you hear what they're capable of. It's like, why are you depriving the fans of that on the studio album? It's like, admittedly, I'm not too well versed in their B-sides and things like that, and their ballads. Maybe there are some that's got that really rich textured harmonies and things like that. It's like don't hide it for just the ballads, you know. Like on the OST, we got a little glimpse of that in that final chorus. I hope we get to hear from Nature soon. NCH, please give him a comeback soon. Anyways, that one I felt like went for a little bit too long. Okay, next up, this is Boni and Lara from DreamNote, who, interestingly enough, we've definitely had on OST Saturday before. Not these Boni and Lara in particular, but DreamNote in particular. Had on the OST Saturday before. We've done 2 releases by them as well, which is very exciting. But they've done a song called Diamond for the drama The Villain of Romance. Now, I'm not well versed in DreamNote's members and like what their vocal talents are and things like that, vocal color, things like that. I just know of some of their music and that I really like it. So, very much excited for this one. Let's get into it. Zoop. I don't know why it's defaulting to 720p. My internet is perfectly fine for 1080. This is a very scuffed OST Saturday this week. I apologize, y'all.
공기처럼 내 곁에 있어준 너라서 켜진 라이트 그 안에선 환하단 사실들 이들 늘 넘어지고 다칠 때면 손 내밀어 나를 일으켜주던 너 Hey boy 언제나 나를 비춰준 투명한 너의 눈빛 반짝여
Is this the chorus already? Or is this the pre-chorus? Pre-chorus.
이제 너란 내 의미 You're my diamond bling You're my diamond bling 빛에 가장 빛나는 treasure You're my diamond bling You're my diamond bling So bright I believe 아직은 널 발견하지 못한 세상도 언젠가 꼭 알아보게 될 거라 믿어 난 믿어 너를 Hey boy 언제나 나를 감싸줘
Nice blends of voices. Got a nice high, gentle vocal. Got a little bit of a lower, punchier one. But they both fit really well together. I mean, understandably so, they're part of the same group. But that hard cut at the end of the pre-chorus too, very satisfying. I like that post-chorus. I wish I had more of that.
이거 하나만은 기억해 잊지 마. 넌 내게 소중한 단 하나뿐인 보석. Remember who you are. 이제 너란 내
Yeah, the way this song includes all the really big, hard cuts before the chorus is so cool.
You're my diamond bling, you're my diamond bling, so bright. 보석 같은 네 맘, 넌 나만의 소중한 diamond is mine. 너를 따라 번져가는 미소, 나도 모르게.
Okay. That song was nice. That was very nice. Yeah, the hard cuts in the pre-chorus is very satisfying to listen to. Musical silence is a very interesting tool in composition, as it draws the attention to the reader. Or I guess to the reader. No, to the listener, gosh. Get me facts straight. No, but Yeah, that moment of musical silence, and the fact that it's like your attention is drawn not to the musical silence, but the physical cut transitioning into the musical silence, I think is what really does it for me. Because, that cut at the very end of the pre chorus, you hear it's there's a nice cut sound, sudden moment of silence, and then the chorus comes in. That little focal point is so important for that chorus. And because of it, that chorus stands out to me a lot more than I think it would without it. The fact that they added a little bit of a post chorus too after the second chorus and the final one as well. Leave us wanting a little bit more from the chorus after the first time around. It's like, we're gonna give you some of it, but we're not gonna give you the whole thing just yet. You're gonna have to wait for it. It's like, okay. I'll patiently wait for it. And like the wait is worth it because the post chorus is glorious. Righto. Ah. Yeah, I don't know why it's defaulting to 720 today, because my internet is perfectly fine. This is the first of the PVs. I'm really hoping that this doesn't get us because this is, well, as you can see in the corner, this is a Crunchyroll video. So this is classy. Classy have done an OST for the Crunchyroll animation Crackle. No, the song is called Crackle for the animation Undead Murder Farce, the opening for it. Now, if you're familiar with anime OPs and, well, animation openings and things like that, you get the PV or the shortened version of it, and then you get the full thing later down the road. It was the same with what Treasure did with the film for Black Clover. It's just a thing that has always been done with animes, especially out of Japan. And yeah, we're just going to deal with that as we go. We're not going to get the full thing today. We're just going to get a little glimpse into what this might sound like. So, here's to hoping that we don't get this thing copyrighted because of this. But out of anything we're going to watch today, I think this probably has the highest chance of it being blocked. So if it does, I will see you back in the debrief, or in the kind of ramble part of this song. So here we go. Oh, I kind of like that. Yeah, it's just the Crunchyroll end card. Okay. Oh, it was only a minute 30, but I already like it. It's a very busy song, but it's not busy in like a detrimental way for me. It's got a lot of moving parts in it, but all the moving parts are very interesting to me. There's like this kind of noir detective meets actiony type of vibe to it for me, which I quite like. It's a very specific aesthetic, I think, but they sound good on it too. They've got the kind of right energy you'd expect from an anime OP. It builds the hype. There's got the moments of like the dramaticism, the slowdowns. The rap verse really brings the song back down, but once the song kicks back up, it's like it's got the pace you want from an anime OP. So they've done a good job with this. They really have done a good job with this. I love the filtered strings, especially early on. Very tasteful filtering too. Sometimes filtering strings tends to knacker the sound a little bit for me, but with that one, I like what they did with it. I'm very curious to hear what the full version of this song sounds like whenever it drops, but as an anime OP, I can get down with that. Okay. This is gonna be a thing I have to do for all of this. This is a very all over the place episode, so I apologize once again. But this is Miss Sunye, of course, of Wonder Girls fame, who also very recently left Blockberry Creative because all my homies hate Blockberry Creative. So freedom for Miss Sunye. But this is the song That's Me for the film Girl Lamp Radio, in that order. And I remember seeing posts about this and thinking, interesting title, but also, we have not heard Sunya's music in a hot minute. Like, she had Like a Dancer a hot minute ago. Apart from that, really heard nothing from her. So, very exciting times. Oh, let's get... Actually, is there? I tried. Alright, here we go.
소녀는 조용히 꿈을 꾸네. 두려움도 걱정도 모른 채 술렁이는 수많은 소리 가운데 약하지만 선명한 목소리. 멀리서 반짝이는 아름다움만을 쫓았던 그때의 나는 안간힘을 쓰며 지쳐 내 안을 바라.
Nice long timpani roll.
감춰진 빛이 흔들려 그 빛을 따라 한 걸음 가봐 조금씩 가까워져 와. 이제 일어나 내 아름다움을 봐. 밝고 선명해. 세상에 그 무엇도 끊어낼 수가 없는 빛나고 소중한 내 안에 너인 걸. 화려한
Again with the nice timpani roll. I love a good timpani roll.
많은 아픔들 버텨내려 계속 달리고 있어. 그럴수록 조금씩 더 멀어져 가는 나. 산산이 조각나 무너져가. 수없이 고민해도 답이 없던 나의 질문들 계속해서 그저 불안한
Oh,
세상을
pick it up a little bit.
향해 내 안을 바라봐. 순간 감춰진 빛이 흔들려 그 빛을 따라 한 걸음 가봐 조금씩 가까워져 와. 이제 일어나 내 아름다움을 봐. 밝고 선명해. 세상에 그 무엇도 끊어낼 수가 없는 빛나고 소중한 내
I love that she's staying in that lower register for the most of this song. It's one of those songs where you don't need to have a soaring high note to get your point across.
모든 걸 다 덮은 것처럼 새롭게 시작한 것처럼 goodbye.
Doesn't mean we can't have a high note though.
내 안을 바라봐. 순간 감춰진 빛이 흔들려 그 빛을 따라 한 걸음 가봐 조금씩 가까워져 와. 이제 일어나 내 아름다움을 봐. 밝고 선명해. 세상에 그 무엇도 끊어낼 수가 없는 빛나고 소중한 내 안에 나인 걸. That's me.
Just let it run. Just let it run. Oh, yes. This song very much has that, like, film, I think, feeling to it. You know how when you listen to an OST and you can kind of hear or feel that it's made more for film than it is for a drama? This one definitely feels like a film OST to me. And I love it. It's really pretty. And the fact that she doesn't, I mentioned it in the middle, but She doesn't need to use her high voice, but you still feel the emotional and like the vocal power behind it, even in her lower register, and it's just ooh, so cool to listen to. It's a very balanced OST as well. It's loud. It's very loud, especially once that orchestra has that really big crescendo into the chorus. In fact, I saw it on the OBS like audio monitor. It is probably about 5 decibels or so louder than the other ones. Oh, I apologize if I blew out any of your ears, but again, as someone who played a violin growing up in string orchestra, this song, and like songs like this hit close to home for me. Because I can relate to playing along with something like this, having a choir singing or having a solo vocalist singing, and you're playing the accompaniment part to it. So I feel right at home listening to stuff like this. But, he has lower vocals. Oh my goodness. Super pretty indeed. Especially on the really low notes where it almost sounds like she's whispering. Very nice. I want to pause. Oh my goodness, it's so scuffed today. I'm so sorry, guys. Okay, this is Jaeyun, of TO1, doing an OST for. Now, bear with me for a second. I'm reading word for word what was on the post for this. The song is called Hariga for the animation and the PV version of the TVing animation, The Haunted House Special Edition Joseon Exorcist Chronicles. That is a mouthful. Now, admittedly, I think the actual title might be a little bit different. It might be one of those things that got lost in translation, and I do not know enough Korean to understand the Hangul in the title block, so apologies. But Mr. Jaeyun of TO1, what do you got for me? Again, this is another animation PV, so high chance this also gets copyright blocked. So if it does, I will see you in the ramble part. It's a very hectic song, which if it's going to be one of those action-filled animations, it makes sense having a song that very much fits the bill. I have no qualms about that whatsoever. Lots of traditional instrumentation involved. Have no qualms about that either. I love a bit of traditional instrumentation in music. I think there's a certain character you get from regional instruments that you just cannot replicate with digital. And like the style of it, the key of it. Like it doesn't really matter where in the world it is. Like it could be French, like countryside, maybe like, French, Swiss Alps, German Alps. You hear the flugelhorns and the yodeling from that region, or it can be, tribal rhythmic music from, say, the Native American territories. It can be South American with that very like dance rhythm flair. It can be Middle Eastern with that distinctive, unique musical key that their music is always in. It can be, East Asian. There's going to be a nice flair for wherever in the world you go to get music from, and the traditional instruments mixing it into modern music is a thing that always will have a place in my heart for. This is no exception. I am kind of lost though. Primarily, I mean, it really does come down to the audio balancing thing. It's so quiet, I can't really hear it. Like I can kind of independently control volume using my M box here on the side. I had that cranked up as high as it would go, and it was still too quiet for me. And it's I think the theme of the theme of this week's episode is scuffed, which is unfortunate, but hey ho, we can't have perfect weeks every week. Oh my goodness. The music itself wasn't bad at all. It's just a few technical things here and there that just really threw things off for me, and now I'm not like mentally in it anymore. Thankfully, we finished all of it, so we're kind of in the clear for that. But overall, not a bad week of music, not a bad week indeed. You got some, it's like not super slow, but not very quick music at the beginning. You got some intense stuff with Classy and that anime OP. Got really pretty with it one time with Miss Sunye, and then again with the high intensity for another animation to wrap up. So it's got a little bit of everything. A little bit scuffed as well, but hey ho. If we do this for 26 weeks, it was bound to happen at least one time, right? Hopefully next week goes a little bit smoother, but that is it for me today. Thank you all for watching along with me. Hopefully you enjoyed it as much as I did. One last request from me today. Let us work together as a community to bring a little bit of extra happiness back into the world, whether it be checking with your friends and family, holding the door open for somebody, even picking up a piece of trash off the street. Just one small act of kindness that may brighten up someone else's day today. And know that wherever you are in the world, should you ever be going through a tough time in your life for whatever reason it may be, even though I'm just some guy on the internet who waffles about music in his free time, know that I will always be a friend, an ally, and a shoulder to lean on whenever you need me. So take care of yourselves, take care of each other, spread the love, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.